All right, good evening. I'd like to call the special City Council meeting of the Mayor's State of the City Address to order. If the clerk can call the roll.
Vice Mayor Stone,
Here.
Councilmember Burt, Councilmember Lowing, Councilmember Lithcott-Hames, Councilmember Liu, Mayor Vinker, and Councilmember Reckdahl has noted he will be absent today, so 6 members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Well, welcome everyone. This year we are hosting, as part of the State of the City, a special City Council meeting. And as such, we'll allow public comment for agendized items only, which is, of course, the State of the City Address. We'll be taking those comments via in-person and in Zoom. And each member of the public will get 90 seconds to be able to speak. Also, want you to be aware that after the first speaker finishes speaking, we will no longer be accepting new requests. So for in-person comments, please line up over, I guess, on your right with the clerk. And please note that public comment cards are in the lobby area, and we will only take online public testimony following the in-person comments. So if you are online, please raise your hand. Following public comment, we will take a brief 10-minute recess. During that time, feel free to get up, stretch, use the restroom. Refreshments are available in the lobby area. Please just don't bring those refreshments back in here. And perfect. Madam City Clerk, could you help us with the in-person comments, please?
Absolutely. We have 2 requests to speak, and our first speaker is Henry E. And a reminder to the 2 speakers, it's 1.5 minutes.
Thank you, Mahir. I'm Henry Etzkowitz for Palo Alto. The state of the city is not good. We must improve it greatly. We must solve the housing crisis. We cannot do it by ourselves. We must partner with Stanford University, which needs more housing and has the land that can reduce the cost. We must involve the venture capital community. We must build greenly high on the shopping centers. We must protect all the existing neighborhoods. Not one bit of light or air should be taken from an existing house. I am the super residentialist candidate for Palo Alto. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Hamilton H.
I'll be speaking on one specific aspect of State of the City. NOAA is forecasting a greater than 90% chance of a very strong El Nino this winter. Thousands of homes in Crescent Park, Duvernay St. Francis, and parts of Midtown near 101 need San Francisco Creek flood protection. Yet progress has slipped. The JPA has lost its executive director and project manager, while Valley Water has tried to reduce its role to funding alone. Now there's an opportunity to turn around. Valley Water has deferred that change and is proposing negotiations with the JPA for a more active role, similar to the successful partnership downstream of 101. My primary ask is that Palo Alto actively help the Valley Water JPA working group succeed. Our city council and staff should help shape the negotiations, clarify roles, and leverage Valley Water's expertise so Reach 2 can get back on track and move towards execution. Palo Alto residents deserve to see this stalled project moving forward toward real flood protection. Thank you.
That concludes public comment for item 1.
All right. Thank you. All right. Well, now we will recess until 6 p.m. when the State of the City Address is officially scheduled to begin. So thank you, everyone. We'll see you in a little bit.
we can I'm sorry that I didn't like more of a spread. I should have brought, if I had known, I should have like. I wish we could do that.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
Extra waters, yeah, just in case you. Oh, I guess you.
I'll take an extra one just in case. Thank you.
Hey, Pete, how you doing?
It was such a learning experience. I mean, you know, that's something big. Yeah. And I actually met a couple of people that have been in Embarcadero about connections. Actually, one guy Sunday night, midnight, and since you and I already had that conversation, I understand, you know, to be better asleep. Pardon? Wait, get back up. I'll get my hot water here. I should tell you so you don't put your foot up. Yes. Right here.
Hey, hello, hi. Good to see you. Thanks for being here.
There's a little trippy thing here.
It's
Isn't it
beautiful
amazing?
facility.
There's a whole green room back there. Way, way back there.
Hi, Vice Mayor. Do I give the list of electeds to you?
Yes, please.
All right. The check marks are the folks we've seen. The typed are ones who've RSVP'd but haven't
You don't
seen
get a
this
shout
yet.
out unless you're here.
We'll see. They might
That
sneak
was
in.
weird. One thing we didn't talk about is, should I, if you're not gonna be at my favorite city, but then it should be out there or something back here. What do I do? You think I should be back there? Yeah. It's weird, like, it's weird not to watch. Maybe I'll just go sit in the lounge and enjoy it.
Who?
You can county assessor.
Oh, yep, got her.
She
Candidate.
she pull a very interesting crowd.
Yeah. Well, this is good because I was thinking, how many people here? But they were just all waiting outside till the last minute.
Oh yeah,
Oh, good.
I was surprised how many people showed up. Period.
Yeah. No, now this is looking like a good crowd.
I think I'm surprised how many people are locally engaged given national politics. There's always a pool. Yeah. How deep the pool goes is a different conversation.
Exactly. And 3 candidates, 2 open seats.
Yeah, so I know what you call. I know.
I saw Karen Holman come in.
Karen Holman came in.
Who?
Karen Holman.
Yes, yes. No Margaret, right?
Karen Holman's on here. Margaret, not yet. She says she hasn't seen anyone else besides on that list, but she may have missed somebody because she's been around. But I think we're good to go once you're ready. And people need to get settled, but I think that's pretty much everyone can go on.
Okay.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to Palo Alto's 2026 State of the City Address. My name is Greer Stone. I'm the Vice Mayor of Palo Alto, a Pali alumnus, and your MC for the evening. I'll say I do appreciate the mayor choosing the Performing Arts Center here at Pali, a school I went to school, I taught at, so it's nice being able to feel right at home with all of you as we hear the mayor on the city's many accomplishments to date and the path ahead still to be forged. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the various elected representatives who are in the room with us tonight. First, my colleagues on the City Council. We've got Ed Lowing, Julie Lithcott-Hames, George Liu, and Pat Burt. We also have with us tonight Supervisor Margaret Abekoga, former Palo Alto Mayor Karen Holman, School Board Member Josh Salzman, Los Altos Hills Mayor Rajiv Bhatia, Nicholas Hargis from Congressman Sam Liccarda's office, Helen Wolter from Assemblymember Berman's office, and Nisa Flagger, our Santa Clara County assessor. Where are you at, Nisa? Yeah. And Terry Godfrey. Sorry, Terry, I missed you. Where are you at? Hey, then there's Terry Godfrey. Thank you all for being here. We all know that none of this work occurs in silos, and the regional partnerships we have is crucial in solving the many challenges we face in our cities and across the region. I also want to give a big special thanks to Ada's Cafe and Palo Alto's Grocery Outlet for their generous support of donating food and drinks for tonight's event. Now, I'd like to invite up Pastor Coloma Smith from the University AME Zion Church and former longtime member and chair of the Human Relations Commission to deliver the invocation. Welcome, Pastor Smith.
Let us pray. God of all of us, God of the evening, God of the morning, God of the ones who planned this night and God of the ones who almost didn't come. Thank you for this evening. for the words that will be spoken, and for every person who chose to be in this room instead of somewhere else. We come from different places. Some of us were born a mile from here. Some of us were born on the other side of the world. We come from Ohio and Indiana. We come from Texas and Brooklyn. We come from Georgia and Michigan. We come from Beijing and Mumbai. We come from Taipei and Seoul. We came from Tokyo and London. We come from Moscow and Tehran. We come from Sydney and Ho Chi Minh City. We come from Lagos and Nairobi. We come from Sao Paulo and Bogota. We come from Kingston and Port-au-Prince. We come from Shanghai, Manila, and Guadalajara. We came from the South during the Great Migration and from a village our grandmother still prays for us. Some of us build companies that the whole world knows by name. Some of us teach in our schools. Some of us serve at City Hall. Some of us run nonprofits or study at Stanford or simply live and love this city. And we pray in different ways. Some of us worship in a church on Sunday morning. Some of us keep Shabbat on Friday night. Some of us bow towards Mecca 5 times a day. Some of us light incense at a temple or sit in silence with Buddha. And some of us hold no faith at all, but love this city with everything we have. Some of us are gay. Some of us are straight. Some of us are transgender. Some of us are young. And some of us have seen 90 winters. And every single one of us belong here. And you know each of us by name anyway. We came here on different roads, but tonight we are one community. You taught us that a body has many parts, and no part can say to another, I do not need you. The startup needs the school needs the church needs the nonprofit needs the city. The neighbor on one side of El Camino needs the neighbor on the other side of us. None of us make Palo Alto what it should be alone. And here's the good news. None of us has to. The city has seen the 1918 pandemic. The city has seen the Great Depression. The city has seen tech booms and tech bust and everything in between. And it came through every time because people who were different from each other decided to be for each other. And that is our inheritance. That is also our assignment. So tonight we ask you for 3 things, God. Give us humility. Humility to listen to the people who see this city differently than we do, and to believe they love it as much as we do. Give us honesty to name what is hard here plainly. The neighbors priced out, the teachers who commute 2 hours each way, the teenagers carrying more pressure than anyone knows. We cannot fix what we will not say out loud. And give us courage to act on what we hear. Not just tonight when it's easy, but Monday morning when the work actually begins. Bless every voice that speaks tonight. Bless every ear that listens. Bless the conversations that follow, the partnerships that start here, and the ideas that haven't been spoken yet. And bless the ones who couldn't be in this room, the ones working tonight, the ones struggling tonight, the ones who stopped believing anyone is thinking about them at all. Let everything we do here reach them too. And when we leave this place, let us leave more committed to one another than we came in. Not one sector, not one zip code, not one side of the community, but we want to be one community. And we say, Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Smith. And now we'd also like to take a moment to recognize and welcome members of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe of the San Francisco Bay. The Muwekma Ohlone are the only direct descendants of the previously federally recognized Verona Band of Alameda County. Their ancestral homelands span the unceded San Francisco Bay Area, and the Muwekma Ohlone people remain an important and living part of our community today. In 2021, the Muwekma Ohlone tribe, together with community partners and advocates, established the Muwekma Ohlone Preservation Foundation. That foundation is doing important work to be able to preserve and revitalize Muwekma culture and language, steward ancestral lands, and educate our broader community about the history and heritage of the Ohlone people. That work is especially meaningful here in Palo Alto, where we have a responsibility to be able to recognize the people who have been connected to this land for generations, and to make sure that their history, culture, and traditions continue to be heard and preserved. So tonight, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to Julie Dominguez and Corina Arellano of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe, who will lead us in the land acknowledgement. Welcome.
Make Muwekma wuwulam akoit makwarep mana makiswi. Jorge Tuhi Kanakraka, Julie Dominguez.
Jorge Tuhi Kanakraka, it's Karina Arellano.
We are Muwekma Ohlone. Welcome to our ancestral homelands where we are born. We both greeted you in our native Chochenyo language. I am Julie Dominguez, and I represent the Dolores Sanchez lineage. And this is my suya, my relative, Karina Arellano, who represents the
Mercedes Marin lineage.
And we are both actually on the community education chairs for the Muwekma Ohlone Preservation Foundation, as well as tribal members. We're here today on behalf of our chairwoman, Charlene Nijme, to present to you all Muwekma Wuwulam Werep Tashu, which is our Muwekma Ohlone tribal land acknowledgement. On behalf of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe, we would like to begin by honoring our ancestors and acknowledging that we gather here today in Palo Alto, specifically within the ancestral territory of the Puichun Ohlone, whose descendants and surviving lineages are represented today within the Muwekma Ohlone tribe. Our people have lived throughout the Bay Area since time immemorial, and the Puichun people were among the indigenous peoples of this region whose ancestors were brought into missions Dolores, Santa Clara during the colonization of California.
This is not simply land where our ancestors once lived. This land remains part of who we are. The Puichun ancestral territory here and the surrounding lands were places where our people lived, gathered, prayed, held ceremony, raised their families, and laid their ancestors to rest. Under the unratified federal treaties of 1851 and 1852, these ancestral lands were never ceded by our people. Despite generations of colonization, displacement, and political erasure, the Muwekma Ohlone people did not disappear. We are still here. As community education co-chair, I also want to remind everyone that a land acknowledgement should be more than words spoken at the beginning of an event. Acknowledgement must also mean education, relationship, and responsibility. We ask you to learn whose land you're standing on, to recognize the living descendants of the people who have cared for these lands for generations, and to ensure the indigenous voices remain part of conversations and decisions shaping our communities today.
So tonight, as we gather here today in Palo Alto, we look forward to the future of this community that we all want to see build. And we ask that you also remember that the people who have been a part of this land since long before the city of Palo Alto was founded, the Puichun people and the Muwekma Ohlone tribe, are not simply part of this region's past, because we are still here. We are part of what is present, and we will be a part of its future. So on behalf of our Makmichishkush, our ancestors, and our Suyakma, our family, we are here on behalf of generations that are still to come. So we say thank you, Kishhorshe Ekinan, for allowing us to come and be a part of your event today. In closing, we leave you with our blessing from our people and our native Chochenyo language. Exuyakma ekachokma, tuhi horshe roke tamakam kam haik ne nomo, hemen tamakin makrota himerka, makin mak alship takamin shik itenomo. Hemen hayetsmet shin menahishmet, kimish makin makish horshe makinanta makrota himerka, maki yekuru waitam kam yi aye, tamakrota himerka haiki mak makinan, tamakrota himerka holye mak maktuye, hemen tamak hishmetzin, makish horshe makinan utashbu makamakiwe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Julie and Karina. And now we have arrived at the main event. And as is tradition here, the vice mayor has the honor of introducing the mayor. Now, as vice mayor, I'm often asked, what exactly does the vice mayor do? I have to admit, it's a very good question because the city charter is considerably more specific and generous about the mayor's job than it is about mine. There are, of course, the formal responsibilities, sitting in pre-council meetings, helping the mayor and city manager set the agenda, representing the city when called upon, stepping in to chair a council meeting when the mayor is unavailable. But then there are the informal responsibilities, the ones that really test the character of a vice mayor. It's my job to provide moral support to the mayor through long council meetings, lengthy staff reports, complicated policy discussions, and those special moments when you look at the clock and realize you've been discussing the same item for so long, you started to forget why you came to City Hall in the first place. And then, of course, there is the most important responsibility of all, sneaking snacks. Because leadership is important, governance is important, public policy is important. But after 5 hours of a council meeting, nothing brings people together quite like a strategically deployed Snickers bar. So Mayor Vinker, if you need anything tonight, a candy bar, banana, water, I'm your guy. In all seriousness, though, that is real. It is a real honor to be able to stand here tonight and introduce our mayor. Vicki and I have now spent 4 years together on the city council. I have had the opportunity to see her firsthand how she approaches this job, not simply from the dais, but in countless conversations, meetings, calls, and discussions that happen outside the spotlight. Vicki joined the Palo Alto City Council in 2023. Last year, served as our vice mayor, and this January, my colleagues and I had the privilege of selecting her to serve as mayor of Palo Alto. And I think there is something particularly appropriate about Vicki serving as mayor at this moment in our city's history. Because Vicki brings an unusual combination of experiences to this job. She is an attorney, she is a mediator, she has worked in intellectual property and spent her professional career working at the intersection of law, technology, and innovation. She has also worked as a policy convener, bringing people together when the issues are complicated, the stakes are high, and the path forward isn't immediately obvious. Before settling in Palo Alto in 1992, Vicki grew up in Indiana, attended Indiana University, and earned her law degree from Georgetown University. She went on to practice law in New York before making her way to Best Coast, West Coast, Silicon Valley, where she ultimately founded her own law practice focused on intellectual property disputes. And that background matters because Palo Alto is a city where every issue is complicated, or at least we kind of make it complicated. We are a city that sits at the center of one of the world's most innovative economies, while also being a community of neighborhoods, families, renters, homeowners, small businesses, students, seniors, and longtime residents. We're trying to build more housing while maintaining what people love about Palo Alto. We're trying to make it easier to do business while preserving the unique character and charm of our commercial districts. And we are confronting climate change while making sure our infrastructure is ready for the future. And we are looking at the future of Cubberly, our public spaces, our transportation systems, and our utilities, all while trying to make sure that City Hall is delivering services efficiently and responsibly. And we are doing that all in a community where people care deeply about these issues, which is one of Palo Alto's greatest strengths, even if it occasionally makes for very long council meetings. And Vicki understands that complexity. And perhaps more importantly, she understands the value of bringing people together. This has been one of the things I have most appreciated about serving with her. She listens, she asks questions, she's willing to dig into the details. And as anyone who served on the council knows, there's a lot of details. But she also understands that eventually we have to make decisions. And so it's that combination, curiosity, preparation, collaboration, and judgment is really something our city needs. And it is a combination that Vicky has brought not only to the city council, but to her professional life as well through her years as a mediator and attorney. And while all of that experience is important, I think what ultimately makes someone a good mayor is something simpler. You have to care about this city. Vicky and her husband Tim, or as all you probably know him as First Gentleman, have called Palo Alto home since 1992. She raised her two brilliant daughters, Hope and Faith, here, and she has spent more than 3 decades not simply working in Silicon Valley, but being a part of this community. She knows what makes Palo Alto extraordinary. She also knows that loving Palo Alto means willing to work on the things that aren't working. And that is the challenge and the opportunity before us. And with that, it is my great honor and pleasure to introduce the mayor of the city of Palo Alto, my colleague, my friend, and thankfully, the person who's responsible for tonight's much less complicated agenda, Mayor Vicky Vinker. Vicky, podium is yours.
Take the banana. Apparently he's leaving the banana. But he didn't stick around to help me with the tech switch, so give me a minute here. I will say I knew that the vice mayors and my relationship had reached a new level on Monday night because he didn't slip me the Snickers bar. I reached over and grabbed the mint. I just, I finally felt like, comfortable enough I could just do that. So anyway, welcome to the State of the City 2026, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. To my council colleagues, thank you for being here. Also to city staff, appreciate all that you do every day and for being here tonight. But I particularly want to give a heartfelt thanks to Megan Horrigan-Taylor, our communications director, and to our city clerk, Mahealani Ayun, for all that you did to make tonight happen. Can we give them a round of applause, please? They have wired this beautiful venue so that we could have the sights and sounds that you'll experience. They got the food out there. It's really, really amazing how they work together to do this tonight. Also want to thank the school district for saying yes and hosting us tonight, and Director Salzman, Trustee Salzman, thank you for being here. And thank you, Reverend Coloma Smith. I don't know where you have gone, but those were beautiful and inspiring words and really set us on the right tone for this evening, so thank you. And also to our Muwekma Ohlone tribal leaders, Julie Dominguez and Karina Ariano, truly appreciate your words. My husband is Cherokee and thus my daughters too, and it means a lot to our family to have you here so that we can properly recognize the indigenous peoples that were here before us and are still here amongst us today. And Vice Mayor Stone, that was one heck of an introduction. Thank you so much. I did not expect all of those kind words, but it means a great deal. But most important, thank you to our residents and their guests for being here tonight. To be part of this with us is the way this city works. So it's most important that you are here. So thank you all for showing up and spending the evening with us. I am so proud of the city of Palo Alto. Wherever I go, when I am introduced as the mayor of this city, I see the instant recognition and the high regard that people everywhere have for this city, which means that they have it for you, our residents who make up this city. I don't have to say Palo Alto, California. I don't have to explain that we're next door to Stanford or down the peninsula from San Francisco. I just say I'm from Palo Alto, and people know that I come from a city with thoughtful, innovative, and smart leaders. Now, while they know that famous inventors, musicians, business founders, athletes, actors, and more hail from here, we know
that Palo Alto is made up of many diverse and talented residents that make this city work. And I know, having worked with so many kind and caring people who love our community, as Pastor Smith mentioned, that it takes all of you to make the magic happen, to make this such a special place, to form one community. So Palo Alto has always been a community with tremendous promise. The promise of Palo Alto was first recognized by the Muwekma Ohlone people, but later, Leland and Jane Stanford established Stanford University in memory of their son, bringing the promise of education and the doors it can open to the young people of the peninsula. In 1894, Palo Alto was incorporated with the promise of publicly owned utilities. That may sound nerdy, but that makes a big difference here. And that's something that still sets our city apart. I believe we are the only city in the state that owns all of its utilities. And then in the 1900s, Palo Alto grew tremendously. And Levi Strauss heiress, Lucy Stern, financed projects including the community theater and the children's library and others that promised places for Palo Altans to come together and to share their time and talents. So today, Palo Alto is known as the birthplace of Silicon Valley, which is the economic engine for the world, promising innovation, prosperity, and connection. Now, through all of these eras, different sectors came together to advance our community in special ways, whether it was to build a university, a theater, or an audio oscillator in a garage on Addison Avenue by a couple of guys named Hewlett and Packard. That's what happens in this special place. So Palo Alto is best when we work together, play together, and stand together as one community. When Palo Alto's schools, businesses, Stanford, nonprofits, and city governments all come together with our residents to form one community, our shared values lead us to create a vibrant city where all can thrive. And while I have the honor of being your mayor this year, city policy is made by all 7 members of City Council, and we lead the city as one council. Now, as the Vice Mayor alluded to, while we typically chew things over pretty thoroughly before we make our decisions, we very often end up with a unanimous vote. So, let's look at some highlights from this year in tonight's brief video. Thank you very much again to our communications director and her staff for putting together that inspiring video. So now it is my honor to report on the state of the city. So let's do that by looking at the priorities that your council set for this year, 2026, and the city's progress so far in implementing them. As would be expected, in some areas we are excelling, and in others we have a lot more work to do. But first, how do these priorities get set? Well, in late January, Council has a retreat where staff provides the public and council a report on the state of the prior year accomplishments. Then Council sets its top priorities for the coming year. Well, over the past several years, we'd pretty much come out with housing, climate, public safety, and economic vitality pretty much every year. So this year, we took a slightly different approach. We chose priorities that really focused in on our needs in 2026 and were more targeted and strategic. At the same time, we wanted to make clear to the public that we weren't abandoning broader and ongoing bodies of work that would be important year after year. So we decided to define afresh and affirm our enduring council values that reflect ongoing policy commitments on the one hand, and time-bound 2026 council priorities that set forth a few areas that should receive heightened attention this year on the other hand. So after we set our priorities, staff presented to council a list of objectives designed to implement each priority, in essence, a to-do list for the year. Well, we adopted those objectives in early March, which was a little earlier than in recent years, so they had a little more runway to work with them. And now that we're about halfway through the year, it's time to give you, the city, a mid-year update and report on the state of the city so far, what we've done and what we have left to do. Retreat, we'll hear how the second half of the year went. So let's start with council values. And so that's the list of council values that we adopted. And if we move to the first one, it's vibrant community. And it's defined as cultivating a dynamic community by fostering retail vibrancy, economic development, engaging public spaces, and a high quality of life for all. So one exciting way we lived into this was the formal grand opening of the Bryant Street Community Center in June, which is a new downtown destination designed to bring generations together through classes, teen programming, and daily senior lunch service. The $1.3 million renovation included extensive building renovations such as ADA access, interior renovations to increase building occupancy, and converting the building's gas, heating, and cooling system to an electric system. And this is my favorite part, installing 7 electric heat pumps. This created distinct gathering places for recreation and community classes, a teen center, and a permanent dining room in downtown for a great community partner, La Comida, the lunch program for older adults that has been around for more than 50 years. About time they had a permanent home. Yeah, you can clap for that. All right, then we also, this October, we're going to have a major employers business reception. So the city recognizes the importance of businesses of all sizes that create employment opportunities and generate revenues essential to funding our public services. We focus much of our attention on supporting our small businesses, and we will be hosting some upcoming training sessions for small businesses. But this year, we also want to specifically engage our major employers, including those that make our city famous. Thus, a business reception is being planned for October with the purpose of fostering direct communication and collaboration. This will help identify economic growth trends, inform future strategic policy efforts on land use, housing, transportation, and more, and will facilitate potential public-private partnerships. So through the business reception and continuing engagement with small business and our valued partner, the Chamber of Commerce, the city will continue to support the vibrancy of businesses of all sizes. Our next council value is fiscal responsibility, further defined as exercise disciplined financial management to ensure city revenues and expenses remain balanced and sustainable and are fiscally strategic and responsible. So we had to navigate through some tough financial challenges this year. When the projected budget deficit arrived, it required some tough decisions. Following public hearings in May, in June, the council adopted a balanced fiscal year 2027 operating budget that addressed and closed what had been a projected $17.1 million deficit. The general fund is important because it funds library services, police, fire and emergency medical services, transportation, planning, and code enforcement. So the budget had to navigate a period of adjustment, given that we have some reduced sales taxes and reduced projections for property tax. The adopted budget uses a multi-year budget balancing strategy and tackles unanticipated expenditures such as the contracted train crossing monitors and oversized vehicle program and adjustments to a retiree medical benefit costs. These are things that we have to pay for, but they are additional expenses to deal with. But these balancing strategies achieved council's priorities and minimized community impacts. So thoughtful spending reductions focused on upholding high quality services through greater efficiencies and alternative service delivery models where possible is part of how we do this. The budget reflects updated systems such as new digital service platforms, right-sizing procurement thresholds, and interdepartmental collaboration on administrative functions. So we're turning all the knobs we can to get there, and we got there. Okay, our next value is accountable governance, specifically earn public trust through transparent leadership, inclusive engagement, and open communication, and centering equity in decision-making. So I want to start with our partnership with the JED Foundation. Through the city's partnership with the JED Foundation, we are continuing our commitment to youth mental health. This, as you know, is of the utmost importance to achieving the one community that we want to be, especially in light of the loss of precious youth recently to death by suicide. JED is a specialist and trained in this area, and they have led workshops and trainings and have prepared a report for our community, which is going to be released on Friday. So you may want to check that out. I believe it could be in the school district packet, but it'll be released Friday. And I want to say that the city is committed to continuing to partner with JED and with the school district to support our youth in this most important way. All right, but also in looking at accountable governance, we had an opening in our city attorney's office this year with the retiring of longtime respected attorney Molly Stump. So we appointed a new city attorney. So to help us with all of our initiatives, this year the City Council appointed Christopher Jensen as our new city attorney. I'm happy to say that Chris has a deep background in municipal law, including serving previously as a city attorney and 14 years of experience in private practice. He comes to Palo Alto from our Cross Bay rival, another college town, the city of Berkeley, but we try not to hold that against him. And he previously served in Cupertino, so he does have experience on the peninsula here. So we are delighted to have Chris on board. Our next value is one that really defines us, and that is strategic innovation. As the birthplace of Silicon Valley, we should embrace innovation in the public and private sectors to optimize efficiency and outcomes. So I want to start with an example that may not have struck you, and that is our public safety building. So this week, our beautiful new public safety building will open its doors. So that's been a long time coming, but it's going, right? So when I say beautiful public safety building, that may sound strange, but go take a look. It is gorgeous inside, and it also has great public art, both inside and outside. So we're very excited about this. But with respect to innovation, bringing together the police department, fire administration, and the Office of Emergency Services all under one roof is an innovation in service delivery. This model will support increased collaboration and cross-department support, ultimately enhancing the service to our community and the safety of our community. I also want to lift up Fire Station 4's replacement. So Fire Station 4 is being reconstructed, and it is on schedule for completion in June of 2027. This project will provide a new facility built to current standards that make it highly likely that it would be fully operational even during and after a major disaster such as a significant earthquake. So I want to thank the voters who some time ago supported the measure that funded the city's infrastructure plan that allowed us to build Fire Station 4 in this way. And I also want to just note that while this construction is happening, the temporary fire station at Cubberley is functioning well, so fire and emergency medical services will continue through the construction of the new building. So, on a happy note, moving into that new public safety building are two new chiefs, and they're here tonight with us. They're in the back. We are delighted. We are delighted by the appointments of a new fire chief and police chief, especially because both chiefs were previously serving our city, and so they are well known to us. We are excited for their leadership and look forward to a renewed focus on community engagement, recruitment, and strategic visioning. And by the way, in that public safety building, there's a beautiful gym facility where both the firefighters and the police will work out. So I'd love to see how that goes. Let us know how that goes. Probably a little rivalry there. All right. Then also, the council advanced some major generational infrastructure improvements for both the regional water quality control plant and utilities through an electrical grid modernization. So at the water quality plant, or the RWQCP, doesn't exactly roll off your tongue, but we try. We are investing $397 million in capital improvement projects for upgrades to aging equipment and new treatment process technologies. Our plant is one of the first regional plants to advance these large-scale projects, all while maintaining daily operations to treat 20 million gallons of sewage per day. Because we don't just serve us, we serve surrounding areas. It's 5, I believe. See if I can get it. East Palo Alto, Mountain View, Los Altos Hills, city manager, what am I forgetting? Stanford, there we are. So 20 million gallons per day. The updated facility will not only increase efficiency and reliability, it will proactively comply with new regulations for protecting the San Francisco Bay. The improvements will also help the plant achieve its sustainability goals, such as reducing its carbon footprint and improving the quality of recycled water. And initial upgrades are on track for 2028 completion. Now, with the other generational project, it's the grid modernization project. And that is a project to replace and upgrade the city's aging electricity infrastructure. Over the next 5 years, Staff will focus on replacing older equipment while increasing capacity in preparation for building and transportation electrification. Over the next decade or more, we expect to invest approximately $400 million in system replacement and upgrades. The initial 2025 pilot of 900 homes is complete, and now staff is focused on the older areas of the system in other parts of the city. This significant project is exciting because it will both enhance the reliability and resiliency of the city's electricity system and support our customers' desires to switch to the city's clean electric energy. Okay, so let's move to the next value: equity, shared prosperity, and housing leadership. This value asks us to center equity in every decision and advance housing, workforce, and social policies that promote inclusion, socioeconomic diversity, and opportunity. So let's take a look at housing production and progress in our pipeline. 2026 has been a strong year for housing, for permitting and production. Since January, the city has issued building permits for 296 new housing units, including 189 multifamily units, affordable to moderate, low, and very low income households. 107 market rate multifamily housing units, and 82 accessory dwelling units. This progress builds on stronger permitting performance in recent years. So in total, we have permitted 916 units since 2023, and this is just over 15% of our total regional housing needs allocation of a little over 6,000 units. But in addition, the city has another 3,335 units in the pipeline, about half of which are entitled. So that is definitely going in the right direction, and interest in ADUs is stronger than ever, with nearly 200 applications submitted so far this calendar year. So to facilitate all of this, the city recently launched an interactive online housing dashboard where community members can review up-to-date information on everything from housing production and permitting trends to progress toward our RHNA goals. Okay, next. This one is near and dear to my heart: climate leadership and environmental stewardship. Lead with urgency on climate action and adaptation, sustainability, and environmental protection for current and future generations. Well, lead with urgency is what Palo Alto has done for years and years. This is where our tremendous community partners really shine. Whether it is the Palo Alto Student Climate Coalition, Carbon Free Palo Alto, Save the Bay, or so many more. This is truly a collaborative one community effort. I mean, we have the most terrific climate working group, advisory group to our council climate committee. I brag about them all the time outside of the city. I think every retired engineer in Silicon Valley decides to work on climate in their retirement, and boy, are we glad. They're really knowledgeable, generous with their time, and deeply insightful about these issues. So, our history really shows that by that working together and innovating, we can do great things. For example, by 2024, Palo Alto reduced emissions 50% from the 1990 baseline. To put that in context, the statewide goal is to reduce emissions by 40% by 2030, and we have already exceeded that by 25%. So we are definitely at the leading edge on that. But I do have to say, as I stand here, we need to do more to reach our very aggressive but increasingly elusive goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 80% by 2030. And friends, this is not something that the city can do on its own. We ask you to partner with us because you are the ones that drive the vehicles. You are the ones that buy and operate appliances in your homes. So we need for you to be inspired and help us transition to electric appliances and other things that will help us reduce our emissions. We have been very inspired by what this community has done so far, but we're in danger of plateauing, so honestly, we need your help. And we're here to support you. So, Palo Alto's first of its kind full service heat pump water heater program and emergency water heater replacement programs helped replace about 20% of the annual turnover of gas water heaters with electric heat pumps. And now we have a new Electrify My Home program that can help with furnaces too. And we have a new rebate for induction cooktops, which most chefs swear by. So take advantage of these things. And with respect to your car, we are increasing our EV charging infrastructure, including for multifamily homes. That one's more challenging, but we are working on it and we're going to get it done. Now, on the sustainability side, we have completed the horizontal levee pilot project out at the Baylands. It is the first of its kind in the Bay Area. So no other bit of shoreline around San Francisco Bay has a horizontal levee like this. And by the way, we're going to celebrate it on September 10th, so please come and meet us out in the Bay Shore and help us celebrate. Because this nature-based approach, as opposed to just a seawall, provides protection against both sea level rise and it enhances habitat in the San Francisco Bay. Our project is a 500-foot-long pilot, and it uses effluent from our regional water quality control plant to irrigate native plantings. So we have built up sort of an earthen seawall. We put native plants in there. We irrigate it with the effluent, cleans the effluent as it goes out. If a high tide comes in, it absorbs it instead of just splashing it, up to East Palo Alto or down to Mountain View. It is really quite an innovative thing. And we've worked with faculty members and researchers at UC Davis to do this. And they are monitoring it, seeing how it goes. And if it goes well, we hope it will propagate around the Bay. So our next value is community well-being and belonging. Foster a safe, healthy, and welcoming community where everyone belongs and can thrive physically, mentally, and socially. So, in addition to opening the Bryant Street Community Center that I described earlier, Palo Alto has many community events and spaces that foster belonging. So Palo Alto has been flying the Pride flag for 13 years in front of City Hall, but this year, we finally held our first Palo Alto Pride event, which I'm just thrilled about. It is another terrific example of one community, because community leaders really came together, but were led by 2 students to launch the Palo Alto Pride event. But the event was supported by 40 groups who came to table at the event, and a tremendous number of community sponsors who helped finance the effort. It was a joyous event that truly uplifted our community, and I can't wait to see where it goes next year. Now, Thursday Live was also launched this year, using some previous events as a springboard, but for new opportunities in collaboration with local business. So this is the Thursday Live event on California Avenue. So I want to thank another community partner, the Palo Alto Recreation Foundation, and others for coming together to make this event series a reality. So please join the next one, which will be at the end of August, so just next week. So, but under this topic, we also have to talk about some of the challenges we've had. And another challenging conversation that took place this spring in this city was whether to close Churchill Avenue at the train crossing right here next to Pali. Our community was divided on this issue, so a lot of thought effort, conversation, analysis, and effort went into working through various options. The conversations were hard, but this community hung in there and kept talking to each other despite the complexity of the topic and the deep emotions it evoked. We truly valued the engagement with our school district, neighbors, parents, student, and community partners as we navigated these issues of public safety and teen wellness. Now, ultimately, council directed staff not to pursue a temporary closure of Churchill, but we are continuing to work on long-term safety solutions at all 4 of Palo Alto's crossings, and we will continue to work on youth mental health, including with the JED Foundation, as I described earlier. Now, on a very different note, after years and years of work, this year, the Palo Alto Council unanimously adopted an ordinance codifying the United Nations Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, better known as the CEDAW Ordinance. I got so excited, I moved my notes. Here we are. We did it during Women's History Month. It really was an important moment when we decided that we will address economic, political, and community support for women and girls, including an emphasis on childcare and support for victims of sexual and gender-based violence. Ongoing work on this will continue through the Human Relations Commission, which has an ad hoc committee on it, and they will be presenting recommendations in September. Okay, so that takes us through our council values. So let's talk a little bit about council priorities, and there are fewer, so bear with me. So in addition to uplifting the values, we identified these few key areas for heightened focus, and then we adopted those objectives I mentioned, sort of the specific actions that advance both the values and the priorities. And as you'll see, we've made substantial progress at this midway mark, and there is a lot more to do, so we can't let up. Okay, so our first priority is to achieve near-term priority housing milestones. So we knew we wanted to keep going, and I gave you the statistics of how we're doing overall, but there were a few we wanted to specifically focus in on, and they are listed in those objectives. So I'm just going to name a few of them. So first, advancing the San Antonio Road Area Plan as quickly and effectively as possible. It's a huge area that includes 53 housing element sites, and it has the capacity for 1,559 units, including 614 designated for lower income households. And the policy and zoning changes under analysis could even support, depending on how we go, between 3,800 and 7,400 units at full build out. So our community has a lot to sort through to make this neighborhood one that we will be very proud of, with safe bikeways and potentially bus service and more. But the potential for enhancing this area is substantial and exciting. So please get involved in that. Please keep sharing your thoughts with us, because this has the potential to just be a phenomenal asset to this city. Then we also, this year, wanted to pursue the pro-housing designation from the state. And I'm happy to report that the city did get its application in for the pro-housing designation in July, and it highlighted a number of our recent housing accomplishments. If earned, the designation would give Palo Alto meaningful access to additional state funding for housing and infrastructure. We expect a determination by the end of this calendar year, and if we get it, we'll have a little party at City Hall, and you all are invited. So also, as part of our housing element, we had several housing element programs. And so we're advancing those, and just briefly, we're doing it by, for example, modifying our housing incentive program to create new incentives for family-friendly housing. We're doing it by working with our partner Alta to redevelop our city-owned parking lot downtown for workforce housing, and by considering later this year innovative housing solutions such as micro and senior housing. So all of that is coming up soon. Now, I'm going to talk just briefly about oversized vehicle impacts and next steps, because we have been addressing what is probably the most intractable issue in the city right now, and that is oversized vehicle dwelling. We know that businesses and residents are frustrated, and we recognize that many different human realities lead to vehicle dwelling, some tragic. So we have an ad hoc committee working diligently on this issue, and previously we have banned van loading and the parking of inoperable vehicles or detached trailers. We have expanded deep cleaning and street sweeping. We have installed signage. We have increased enforcement and towing, and we have coordinated outreach to the people living in the vehicles. And on Monday night, council will get an update on that and consider options for next steps that build on these previous actions with a goal of achieving more significant impact. It is an extremely complex state, regional, and Palo Alto problem that is a high priority for the city, and all of us are eager for faster results. But there's one milestone that we've made that deserves its own slide. So in May, the city celebrated the opening of Project Home Key, a first of its kind modular interim housing shelter co-developed by the City of Palo Alto and Life Moves. The facility features 88 modular rooms with ensuite bathrooms, on-site services, and spaces for counseling and vocational training. The shelter will serve approximately 200 individuals over the course of a year. And I'm happy to say that we welcomed our first clients in June. So as that unfolds, we'll see what impact that has on the city, and I'm really optimistic about it. And then, so that takes us through several of our near-term goals, but because we've just done a lot this year, I wanted to let you know about a few others that may not have been on that near-term list, but that are on their way, consistent with the general value of housing that I described earlier. So we're particularly proud of certain affordable housing projects that were recently completed. So Mitchell Park Place is one of the best examples of one community in our town. In May, city and state leaders joined Eden Housing and community members to celebrate this grand opening. Mitchell Park Place is a 100% affordable housing project, unique in that it includes deed-restricted units for intellectually and developmentally disabled adults. I think Supervisor Simidian, I thank Supervisor Simidian for his key role in both conceiving and bringing this to fruition. It was truly a joy to be in that beautiful space. And of course, we also have affordable teacher housing, which was also something that Supervisor Simidian championed, and it is now open. So that is how we make sure that those who educate our children are part of our one community. But wait, there's more. Under construction, coming soon, the Charities Housing Project is officially under construction at 3001 El Camino Real. This project will include 130 all affordable units, and the city, gave it $5 million in housing funds to help get there. There's also the Acclaim project that broke ground just last week that will have both affordable and market rate units pretty much across the street on El Camino Real. In the future, we expect to release an RFP this winter for a 100% affordable housing project near Matadero Creek on a site that was dedicated to the city under the 2023 development agreement with the Sobrato Foundation. So we are looking forward to that next step of that area near the cannery. And in January, Alta Housing applied for a 72-unit affordable housing development on the city-owned parking lot downtown. And that application may be considered by council as soon as fall. So thank you to our community partners like Alta, Acclaim, Charities Housing, and more. We are building one community where those who work here can also live here. Okay, our next priority, the Coverly acquisition and renovation funding. Friends, this has been a long time coming. After much work by so many of you in the community, this council struck a deal with the school board that would allow the renovation and rehabilitation of this community center that has meant so much to our community and to so many families, including mine. Council adopted the Coverly Conceptual Master Plan to reimagine a long-term vision for a future community center campus. Then, Council unanimously placed what's now known as Measure J on the November ballot, asking voters to increase the city's sales tax by 0.5 cent, which would provide approximately $15.6 million annually in revenue to invest in the community's vision to create a Coverly Community Center campus that is vibrant, beloved, and adaptable, that promotes learning, interconnectivity, joy, and well-being, where all cultures and generations belong. It would be a beautiful thing. So our third priority is enhanced business vibrancy, that we are developing a formal business retention, expansion, and attraction program to support Palo Alto businesses. This will increase the tax base for essential services and will support special events. So the Economic Development Committee will consider what we call the BREA strategy next week. In addition to strengthening the tax base, the 10 implementation actions focus on developing a competitive advantage, real estate assets, business and community engagement, promotions and marketing through activation events, and enhancing the Palo Alto brand in innovation and entrepreneurship generally. So also this month, the City Council approved the Retail Vitality Ordinance. There, the goal is to combat retail and ground floor vacancies by providing more flexibility in uses and zoning to enhance retail districts and get rid of some confusing regulations. Another thing we're doing, one of the best ways to enhance vibrancy is to continue to support the signature events that draw visitors to downtown, such as the upcoming Chamber Festival of the Arts. And of course, Code Art. It was quite magnificent last year when they displayed things on City Hall. Our new Palo Alto Pride event, and more. So downtown activation also includes public art, murals. So there's lots of ways that we can go about enhancing these public spaces. Now, with respect to our second downtown, California Avenue, we've done a couple of things. We have a new entertainment zone, so you can go from restaurant to restaurant and not leave your beer behind. And we have outdoor activation guidelines. So they were adopted and implemented after a lot of stakeholder engagement, and we're eager to see, what impact they have. Also, we're going to get new signs. Modern monument signs at El Camino Real and at Birch Street near Oregon Expressway that will say, "Shop, Dine, and Play" will be installed in January of 2027. So finally, our last priority in this time of strained budgets is government efficiency. We felt it important to include that this year. I already spoke about balancing the budget in accordance with our fiscal responsibility value. Another efficiency effort is developing a citywide consultant stewardship framework to ensure that we don't retain consultants when we don't need them and do retain consultants when they're needed for, say, short-term expertise, and that we manage them well when we do. So this consultant stewardship framework, which I think is one of the first of its kind, we did not find a lot of precedent out there for this, but it is advancing to council this fall. So we were going to look at that right away. So finally, and in the interest of government efficiency, this is my final priority, we advanced several major changes to the city's 311 effort, where you can call with questions and need information, that will improve the clarity and speed of responses to constituent questions. So please give it a try and then let us know how your experience was. I know I had one constituent who's a longtime friend. He emailed me one evening about some overflowing trash bin. And I said, why don't you try 311? It was at a municipal place. Well, he wrote me the next day and it looks the same. And then before I could respond, he goes, whoa, wait, they handled it. They let me know. So at least in that instance, it worked. So give it a try. Let us know how we can improve it. And hopefully that will make us more efficient by you being our eyes and ears out there. So that covers the state of the city at roughly the halfway mark for this council and for our 2026 priorities and associated objectives. So you can see why we are recognized throughout the state, country, and world as a special city. I believe that our secret sauce is that we have a magical convergence here of incredibly talented, community-minded people who attract more talented, community-minded people, who in turn partner with the city from their respective lanes, whether that is our schools, of which we're so proud, our businesses, big and small, the renowned university across the street, the impactful nonprofits that nurture us, or our city government, which is the only one in the state that owns all of its own utilities, the only city in the county that has its own ambulance service, that has a leading climate program, that is redefining the Palo Alto process to build more housing, that has beautiful parks from the Baylands to the foothills, and has the first custom Rivian police command vehicle unveiled by then Mayor Lowing at last year's State of the City. When the hearts and minds of the people of Palo Alto in all of those sectors converge, we are one community. And together as one community, we will both address our challenges and celebrate our progress. So while we still have work to do, if we work together, play together, and stand together as one community, then friends, the state of our city is strong. Thank you. Thank you. Now, to close out our program tonight on a fun one community note, I have a special treat for you. And it's not the Snicker bar or banana that the Vice Mayor left. Our school partners with us in many ways, and I want to thank the district again for hosting us tonight. And in addition to academics, the schools provide many programs for our children and youth. And one of them is athletics. And I spent many, many hours, my husband can testify, you were there too, in the old gym before they renovated it, where there was room, well, let me go back. Many, many hours there watching our daughter play basketball. It was really impressive to see how many out-of-town fans came that we hosted in this city in that gym. That happens at the Gun Gym, it happens at the Pally Gym every year. And it's one of the ways that the schools partner with us as one community. So I thought it would be fun to hold this event in the gym where there was room for a ping pong table. But I later learned there were technical problems with holding the program there, audio, visual, I don't know. I kept asking, but we couldn't do it then. So in order to have room for that table, I'm excited to be in this beautiful space. It really is tremendous. I'm excited. Several of you on your way in said, I've never been in here before. So I'm glad that we're all experiencing that. Although if I could wander from this mic, it would kind of have it. We don't have that. But I am more than excited to celebrate here a former student whom our one community nurtured, and one who used to study for her AP bio tests in my dining room with my daughter. So here to introduce her is her former study buddy, my daughter, Hope Crockett.
Good evening. It's great to be back at Pali and in this beautiful space. It's an honor to return to the school that nurtured me, challenged me, and educated me in ways that went way beyond the classroom. Two of the enduring experiences that I cherish from high school are playing sports and making treasured friends. Our special guest tonight encompasses both those things. Lily Zhang was born in the Bay Area and is a 2014 graduate of the Palo Alto High School class. She has spent over 2 decades as the face of USA table tennis and is widely regarded as the most accomplished and influential American in the history of the sport. At just the age of 12, Lily became the youngest player ever to join the US women's national team. And at 16, she made her Olympic debut at London 2012. Since then, Lily has become the first American to compete at 4 Olympics in table tennis and the first American to medal at an Olympic table tennis event. She is also a 6-time national champion. Lily holds a psychology degree from UC Berkeley and continues to compete at the highest international level, setting her sights on LA 2028 for a historic 5th Olympic Games on home soil. Lily was also the first table tennis athlete to come out publicly as LGBTQ+. I know the mayor is incredibly grateful to Lily for returning to her alma mater tonight. So am I, because Lily represents the best in athletics. Not only is she successful, she worked incredibly hard to develop her unique talent. I tell everyone I know that Lily is deserving of every good thing that comes her way. And I am thrilled that more people get to know both the wonderful athlete and person that Lily is. Someone who takes the game seriously, but not herself seriously. Someone who is a fierce competitor, but always plays fair. And someone who makes both the US and her friends proud, not just for her accomplishments, but the manner in which she achieves them. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Pali alum, US Olympian, and my friend, Lily Zhang. So we're lucky that Lily recruited a fellow professional table tennis player and teammate to play here tonight. But before we bring him out, I thought it might be fun to watch our mayor take a shot at returning a few hits from Lily. Can we show some support for our mayor? Can we get the screen lifted, please? Ready?
I guess. What we do for our daughters.
That's gonna make the difference. fierce competitor.
She's not so good. We're gonna recruit you for LA.
Oh. All right, all right. Let's give it up. All right. We'll take a little mercy for our public servant and give Lily a bit of friendly competition. I'm pleased to next introduce Jin Bao Ma. Jin Bao is on the same Major League table tennis team as Lily, the Bay Area Blasters, and was the 2023 US Open Men's Singles Champion. Please welcome to the stage, Jin Bao Ma.
Ready? Time out. All right.
Are you set?
Game to 5?
Okay.
Okay. Come on. Chilling. 1-0.
So nervous.
2-0. sorry. Okay, 3-4. Match point, come on.
Wow, let's hear it for our champions here, Jinbao Ma and Lily Zhang. Woo! Thank you both so much for coming. And for you, I know you're flying. Lily travels all over the world playing in tournaments. You're flying out tonight, right? Are you going abroad again or? Back to New York. Back to, do you want to say anything to your former? You don't have to. You want to say hi?
Sure, why not? Hi, everyone. I just want to say that it is such an honor to be here, especially to be back in Pali, back in, the old stomping grounds, and to see Hope and Vicky be here. It really feels like a full circle moment. Sorry, excuse my breath. I'm like so out of breath. Should have done this before playing. But it just feels so special, and I'm so appreciative and grateful to be here, and it makes me feel really emotional to see both of you, and I hope to see amazing things come for Palo Alto. Thank you.
Cheer for Lily Zhang. Lily, I just want to say we are so proud of you as a homegrown athlete, but also just how you are in the world, as Hope said. So thank you. I know it was hard within your trying to schedule her time was a challenge, but she made the effort to come back and be with us here tonight. And wasn't that magnificent? Wasn't that? You see the world-class athletes like that? It's incredible. And so thank you also for coming. So anyway, I hope you all have enjoyed yourself tonight and that we can go forth, as Pastor Smith said, renewed as one community, excited about this amazing city that we all love. And so thank you so much for being here. And there will be a reception out in the lobby with some wonderful food from Ada's Cafe and drinks thanks to Grocery Outlet. So please stick around, enjoy yourself, and thank you so much for coming.